Sad news to report regarding the subways. We've had problems on the Queens Boulevard line that I will get into in this video. But the main headline is this unfortunate story. A subway arson happened in Harlem, right at the Central Park 110th Street station. And I am going to read this article from Gothamist.com. An MTA worker was killed, 16 other people injured in a suspected subway arson. And I will zoom in so if you're on a smartphone or a tablet, you can see the article. Make sure you guys can see this. All right, good. An MTA worker was killed and at least 16 other injured after a fire broke out inside a subway car in Harlem early Friday morning, March 27th. The fatal incident was preceded by two other blazes on nearby subway platforms, police said, suggesting that the fire may have been set intentionally. According to authorities, the second car of a northbound tube train erupted in flames at around 3:18 a.m. A conductor reported the smoke and fire to 911 as transit workers helped passengers evacuate the subway at 110th Street Station, Central Park. When emergency personnel arrived, they found a train operator laying unresponsive in the track bed. He was pronounced dead shortly after. Additionally, police said that the 3 men and 1 woman were rushed to the hospital in critical condition after suffering from smoke inhalation inside the subway car. 7 other citizens and 5 firefighters suffered minor injuries in the blaze. We have a tweet, and sadly, this is what the subway car looked like. We have a video of emergency personnel, so we will try to play the video right now. So I'll put it on mute. And as you can see, FDNY ambulances responded immediately to the scene. TWU Local 100 has identified the victim as 36-year-old Garrett Gobble. President Tony Utano said in a statement, "For this to happen after we lost 2 of our union brothers to the coronavirus, it is hard to comprehend," the union president said. "Our conductor acted heroically to move passengers to the platform out of danger and deserves our deepest thanks and support for his bravery." NYPD Deputy Chief Brian McGee said on Friday that police had discovered smaller fires at 86th Street and 96th Street subway platforms, as well as a street fire at 116th Station. It was more than likely that they were connected. The 2-alarm fire brought 25 units in and 106 firefighters to the 110th Street Station overnight. Service on several trains was briefly suspended. As of 6:45 a.m., the FDNY was still working to extinguish a fire at Central Park North, according to the MTA. Interim President of New York City Transit, Sarah Feinberg, said, "The fire caused significant damage to the train and the 110th Street station. This has already been a devastating week for New York City Transit, and another horrific moment for our family," she added. Police are handling the investigation. Alright, so at the end of the video, I will in fact play the press conference that was released to the public. So I am going to make sure that's edited out and you all can watch for yourselves. So let's see what happened on the Twitter feed. So this was first reported around 3:24 a.m. This was the first tweet that they sent at NYCT Subway. So I will zoom in so you all can see this. Do apologize. There we go. Now you all can see it. So this is the tweet that they sent out. And then the next tweet they sent out was, "Service update. Downtown tube trains were running on the 5 line from 149th Street Grand Concourse to Nevin Street. Wow. So they had to divert trains on the Lexington Avenue line. So, I'm wondering something here. Here's a map. So, okay, this map doesn't help us. Let's look up something else for an example, because there should be a PDF. Subway map, PDF. I'll give you an idea of Nevin Street, so that way you all get an idea of what is there to expect. There we go. This is large enough so you all can see it. Okay, we're trying to look for Nevin Street. And I can't figure out where Nevin's is, because that would be too hard to figure out at the moment. So, you can clearly see here, they had to run on the 5 line. Now, this is possible because the 2 changes tracks right here in the Bronx, right here at 149th Street Grand Concourse. So we'll highlight that so you all can see it. There we go, see? Changes tracks right here. Now, I know Nevin Street is in Brooklyn, but I can't seem to find it at the moment. So we'll just have to look and see. Here we go. Yeah, here's Nevin's right here, right by Borough Hall. Because I know Nevin's... Because I'm like, I know Nevin's is the last stop before Atlantic Avenue and Barclays. So I could see why they have to change tracks in Brooklyn and then tell the train operators, look, we can't get service on the 2 line up in Harlem at 110th Street because we're not going to be able to put trains at right here at 110th Street. So what were your options? You either had to go to Lexington Avenue or you either had to go to the west side and go to Cathedral Parkway. Which, who would want to do that late at night anyway? And I thought we were all supposed to be staying home. Why are people on the subway at 3 o'clock in the morning when we're under martial law right now? That's what I don't understand. Okay, so the next update was Uptown 2 trains ended at 96th Street. 3 service was temporarily suspended between Times Square 42nd Street and 148th Street. So, they gave an accurate idea of bus. Now, first of all, I'm no fool here. Okay? Let's look at the bus map of Manhattan. Just for an example. Because I don't go with their maps. I go with this map right here. So if you were around 110th Street, okay, here's what you would have probably had to end up doing last night just to get over to Lexington Avenue. In order to get over to Lexington Avenue last night, you know what you would have had to do? You would have had to walk. You would have had to end up taking the 6 train over here, which in Manhattan, it's very easy to do. You could just walk here from Central Park North, then go this way on 110th Street, and boom, the 6 train's right there. So, maybe you would have gotten lucky, and you would have gotten a train at 110th Street last night. But what would be the point of taking a bus when the whole point of the subway is supposed to be easier because most people don't even take the bus to Manhattan? Unless you're me, you take the M86 Select bus. That's a whole different story. Or the M31. That's a whole nother discussion for another time. Okay, so this is what they were recommending people to do last night. They were telling people to take the A, D, 4, and 6 trains, or take the M7, which does go up to Harlem, which I know that, because it runs right along Avenue of the Americas in Midtown, the M102, the BX15, or the BX19. Next update was 2 trains ran on the 5 line from Nevin Street to 149th Street Grand Concourse. Downtown 2 trains were ending at 149th Street Grand Concourse. So, this is what I mean. Then they had to make 2 trains run between Wakefield 241st Street and East 180th Street in the Bronx. Alright, so now I can perfectly illustrate that. See? Here we go. Here's where the 2 train starts and ends, right here. And you know what? This is actually the Harlem line of Metro North. How ironic. How ironic. Can't make the stuff up, folks. Just can't. That's Metro North right there. Metro North in a nutshell. Alright, so they were going to reroute 5 trains to provide alternative service. The FDNY had to continue their work. So they had to make sure that there was no 2 or 3 trains between 96th Street and 135th Street 2 train and 148th Street on the 3 train. So let's double check this for a second. See? That's Manhattan. Right here. That's Manhattan. 135th Street, right? Right here in Harlem. And then, that's where the 3 train ends at 148th Street. Alright? I think we're on the same page here. Now, look at this. Afterwards, this even gets more crazy. 3 trains had to run only between New Lots Avenue and 96th Street. Some 4 trains had to be extended between Crown Heights, Utica Avenue, and New Lots in Brooklyn. Oh, boy. Let me see this for a second. Crown Heights, Utica Avenue. So, Crown Heights, Utica on the 4 line. Okay, here we go. Crown Heights, Utica Avenue, and go to New Lots. Okay. So, if we check the 4 train, go up here. Yes, New Lots. Worst comes to worst, I can always Google it. Or look for the other map. This map is giving me a headache. I'm sorry to admit that, but this map is really giving me a headache. That's better. There we go. Here's the 4 train. Here's Jerome Avenue. Now, we'll look for New Lots Avenue if we have to. We'll find it. Here's Franklin. Crown Heights, Utica. Worst comes to worst, we can always Google it. Here we go, Brooklyn. So Wikipedia should be able to tell me where it is. Yes, here we go. Van Schleilen, right? Yes. Van Schleilen. Here's Kingston. Now this is where it's confusing me. I'm just looking it up for fun for a second. Livonia Avenue. Now this is ringing a bell. Pennsylvania. Here we go. Oh, now I see. Now I see this. Yeah. See? Look at that. They had to extend... So wait a minute. You mean to tell me they had to extend the 4 train? The 4 train only goes out there during rush hour. Now I'm getting it correct. That's East New York. Correct. Because I know the 3 train goes to Livonia Avenue on the L line. Yeah. Now it makes sense. Alright, now more of the headaches. They told people to use the D train, crosstown bus service to and from 4, 5, and 6 stations. Lenox Avenue used the M7 and M102 bus. use the BX19 and BX15 buses in the Bronx for ACD 456 trains. Now 3 trains had to run only between New Lots Avenue, here we go, New Lots, and 96th Street, and it had to run via the 1 line to and from. So they had to make 2 trains run local? You cannot make this stuff up. Oh, boy. So that's where the headaches pretty much go. Uptown, okay, 1 train and 3 trains skipping 96th Street and 86th Street. In both directions, request of FDNY state can investigate the earlier fire. So once again, headaches. Headaches for everybody last night. You know, just because one person decided to set the train on fire. And I really hope they're going to catch this person. You know, I really hope they're going to catch this person. Because I understand that we're dealing with an emergency situation with you know, something we never dealt with before. Alright? I understand this. The media is not going to give extensive coverage about this. Just because they're so fascinated with coronavirus. You know, if we didn't have coronavirus, you know what would be happening right now. You know what would be happening. The media would probably be all over this. But no. We have coronavirus. Coronavirus. Can't make this stuff up. Alright, so I just want to quickly go into the problem that happened in Queens. Well, 2 problems we had on the Queens Boulevard line. I'll just quickly mention this one incident we had. We had disruptive passengers to refuse to exit trains at Jamaica 179th Street. I bet it was a homeless person. I bet it was, because think about it. Where do you think they're going to end up going? Probably what happened was somebody from Transit District 20 came over and they told the vagrant to come out, and they said, you need to come out, and a person probably refused. I bet there was trash in the train. I've been seeing pictures online of vagrants pretty much going, and this is what I've seen since the pandemic began. And I'm going to have to bring this up to Commuter Council next month, is that bottom line is, we're seeing, and I'm not going to use the word vagrant, because Andrew Albert said I shouldn't be using it anymore, but I can respect that. So pretty much my point is, you have homeless that have taken over. I've seen these pictures of trash bags, of shopping carts even. Well, not the big ones. We're talking about those wheelbarrow ones. I've seen pictures of them just sleeping. There's one lady on her cell phone. And it's just very alarming. I will say that. So, telling you right now, folks, please keep getting pictures out there. If you see anybody homeless, expose them, because the council needs to know what's going on right now. Just like how I have to give the Queen's report on April 23rd, because that's the next time I'm supposed to be speaking to the council. I'm pretty sure I had that date. Yeah, April 23rd is the next time I'm meeting with the PCAC. Okay, so it's just chaos right now. So let's get into what happened. So here's the problem. They didn't give us an answer on why e-service between West 4th Street, Washington Square, and the World Trade Center was suspended. Why weren't trains being sent over to Chambers Street? My first question. And then they said, oh, if you need to go to Spring and Canal Streets in Lower Manhattan, you have to take an A train. What? Why would you tell people to take an A train? That means if you were on the E train last night, you would have had to transfer 42nd Street Port Authority if you were coming from Queens. Can't make this stuff up. Okay. So this happened at 11:49 p.m. last night. And they resumed service on the E train at 2:15 a.m. Alright? Understand this. Now, we're going to get into what happened on the E train. 9:52 a.m. No E train service between Jamaica Center Parsons Archer and Jamaica Van Wyck. There was a smoke condition at Jamaica Center Parsons Archer. They had to divert E trains on the F line from Briarwood to Jamaica 179th Street. And they said, to go to Jamaica Center, use the J train or the Q24, Q54, or Q56 buses. Here's something stupid. Why didn't they tell people if they were at Kew Gardens Union Turnpike, they could have just, or let's say at Forest Hill 71st, to go that route. They could have just told people take the Q60. Problem solved. They didn't tell people that. So I'm going to have to let Community Council know about this, because this is very poor miscommunication right here. The bad news is I'm not even meeting with them for another month. This is a disgrace right here. You know, very poor miscommunication right here. And then what time did they resume service? Just curious. Here we go. Yeah, they resumed service at 10:51 a.m. So let's just double check to see if we have any other issues. Oh, also, I want to mention we had a problem on the Q18 bus this morning. I'll get to that in just a second. I think I did get an email from somebody. Because if not, I'll try to get the fan mail up. But if not, then okay. I can always just forward it to me. Let me just see. I get an email from the Q18 this morning. Oh, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. Okay. But I'll just check the bus feed. Because we did have a problem this morning. Okay. Oh, look at this. One of the buses got detoured. M104 bus. Here we go. I'm just trying to see if we had any information about the Q18 this morning. Here we go. Yeah, look at this. Q12, Q28, Q56, Q58, and Q110 bus service. They're taking precautions. Look at that. Yeah, but this is so stupid. Why didn't they send out a tweet regarding the Q18 bus? I mean, come on. Alright, so I got the email from earlier. I had to look all over for it, but here we go. What happened on the Q18 bus this morning was down wires at 58th Street, 38th Avenue. The detour went as follows. Northbound buses had to go on Woodside Avenue, left on 58th Street, left on Roosevelt Avenue, left on 61st Street, left on Broadway, and then regular route. Southbound buses had to go on Broadway, make a right on 61st Street, right on Roosevelt Avenue, right on Woodside Avenue, left on 58th Street, and then follow the regular route. So that's what happened on the Q18 this morning. Okay, I want to mention that Q22 and QM17 service Beach 21st Street and Conaga Avenue to Mott, Far Rockaway due to DTC construction. Q41 buses are detoured from Atlantic Avenue at Van Wyck Expressway to Archer Avenue due to road work. Q47 buses are detoured between 69th Street and Garfield Avenue and Columbus Avenue and 70th Street due to construction. And this is something interesting. Q65 buses detoured from 14th Avenue to College Point Boulevard to 112th Street due to utility work. And then we had a problem on the Q13 Limited and Q114 Limited. So are they still running limited buses despite the fact that we're under a pandemic? I hope not, because all buses should be running local right now. No, I just don't get it. Okay, only northbound buses were affected. Right on Brookville Boulevard, left on 147th Avenue, and right on Brewer Boulevard, and then resuming the regular route. Alright, that's what happened. Okay, so that's pretty much it. That's what happened in Harlem. That's what happened in Queens. The buses have also been a mess today, it looks like. What else is new with the MTA? Even under a pandemic, even under coronavirus, people can't get their act together. Alright, so with that, thank you all for watching. The video will now end. We're now going to watch the press conference that took place in Harlem earlier this morning.
Chief Safety Officer at MTA, Patrick Warren. SVP for Subways, Sally Librera. EVP for Subways and Chief Operations Officer, Frank Giesecke. Myself, New York City Transit Interim President, Sarah Feinberg. And then we've got Deputy Chief Brian McGee, who is with the Manhattan North Detectives. Right? So, couple of things we want to share. First, absolutely heartbroken to share the news that one of our New York City Transit family members passed away as a result of an incident this morning. As all of you know, this has already been a devastating week for New York City Transit. And this is another horrific moment for our family. I'm going to share the limited details that I have, and of course you can also ask other folks up here questions and Chief McGee questions as well. This morning, a little bit after 3 a.m., a northbound 2 train was entering 110th Street Station behind me. A conductor employee reported smoke and fire on the train. There was communication between employees on the train. 2 employees on the train, one employee who was helping to operate the train and a second employee who happened to be riding as a passenger on the train, successfully evacuated passengers from the train and off of the platform. The fire department was called immediately. There was a second train in the tunnel behind the incident train. The fire department was able to help evacuate those passengers and crew members off that train through the tunnel and through an emergency exit. As you can probably tell, the investigation is very much ongoing at this point. The investigation has been turned over to the NYPD. Chief McGee can answer additional questions about that. For now, we are devastated by this. This is a hard moment for New York City Transit, a devastating incident. Our hearts and prayers are with our family, with our workforce, and with the family and loved ones of our family member who's passed away. The New York City Transit team shows up every day to move people in this city safely and efficiently. They do unbelievable work, and they are heroes. And they are particularly heroes these last few weeks. And it is an honor to be a part of this team and to know them and to work with them and to be a part of what they pull off every day. I'll turn it over to Chief McGee to answer additional questions.
Good morning. I'm Deputy Chief Brian McGee. I'm the commanding officer of Manhattan North Detectives. First and foremost, the NYPD expresses its deepest sympathies for the member of the MTA who lost his life today. The information that I'm about to give you is very, very preliminary, so take that as it is. At about 3:14 this morning, there was a report of smoke and fire on a northbound number 2 train. This train originated out of Flatbush in Brooklyn around 2:15 in the morning. As it reached 110th Street here, an employee that was on the train reported to the motorman that there was heavy smoke and fire coming from the second car. That would be the second car from in the front of the train. The train stopped, and many people got off because there was a large fire on that train. What we do know is that the motorman of that train was found on the tracks, and he was pronounced deceased. Right now we're investigating several things. There were other fires that we're looking at that we have to see is connected to this on 86th Street and 96th Street within the transit system. We're looking at that. We're also looking at a fire on 116th Street as we speak. The most important thing that I need is for witnesses to come forward, 1-800-577-TIPS. We have the best detectives in the world investigating this, Manhattan North Homicide, the 2-8 Squad, the assistants of the Central Robbery Division. We have the best detectives in the world investigating this, but what I really need you to do is to get that message out there that we need people to call that TIPS hotline to give some sort of solace to the family of the deceased.
Let's take questions. I'm not going to share specifics at this time until I have full confidence that his family has been informed and briefed. So I'm just not going to share details at this moment. Hard to tell at this point. I mean, I have been down at the scene, as have others. There's significant damage to the train and to the station, and we will obviously at some point move the train out of the station to a yard and do an even fuller investigation, and we'll know more later. There are injuries. So in addition to the fatality, look, and I know all of you know this well, early numbers are always changed. And so the numbers that we have now are that there were 9 injuries. I've also frankly heard 14 injuries. And so early numbers are wrong, and we'll have to see how it plays out. They certainly put their lives at risk to get those passengers off. That's what the New York City Transit family does every day. As far as I know, they are not injured.
This is a criminal investigation, absolutely, and we have everybody here. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that we have our Arson and Explosion here that works hand in hand with the ATF, and we are investigating it as a criminal matter. So it looks like there were previous fires on 86th Street and 96th Street, very preliminary. We have investigators there holding them as crime scenes. And the 116th Street is topside, so it's up on the street that we're investigating also. I'm not saying they are connected, but it's something that we have to investigate that more than likely may be. Not in cars, that were on the platforms. I can't hear you. All in the vicinity of 315 this morning.
I don't have anything on that.
I don't have any information on a fire in Jamaica, Queens. There's nobody in custody now. So speaking to Lieutenant Mike Ruzzi and Sergeant Steve Mancini, the Arson Explosion, it's the second car, so it's the second car from the front, from the driver's side, and there is extensive damage to that car. We believe that's where we believe it originated from. So you could imagine the crime scene down there. It's pretty messy right now, and that's what our investigators are doing. We're waiting for crime scene, and we have to go through that meticulously, so I can't report anything on that now.
We're not going to share information and details like that at this time. Okay. Anybody else? All right, thank you all. Thank you.